We begin tonight's show in Kansas City as the Chiefs beat the Bengals 26-25. The Bengals, they fall to 0-2 for a third consecutive season for the Bengals. Joe Burrow, he went 23 of 36. He threw for 258 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had a very subpar game. He went 18 of 25. He threw for 191 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So, for me, my biggest takeaway as I watched this Bengals-Chiefs game Sunday afternoon in Kansas City, my biggest takeaway was what a wasted opportunity by the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm looking at the stats sheet, and I'm also watching the game, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't believe Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs could play any worse than they played yesterday in that game. And when you look at the stats, it backs it up. The Bengals were better on third down than the Chiefs. The Bengals had more passing yards than the Chiefs. The Bengals had more total yards than the Chiefs. The Bengals had more time of possession than the Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes had one of his worst games of his career. That 151 passing yards, that's a career low in any game he's ever played in. A career low. And yesterday, Joe Burrow outplayed Patrick Mahomes significantly. Joe Burrow was balling yesterday. As for those people, I never said this, but for those people that were saying Joe Burrow's best days are behind him, they should be embarrassed because Joe Burrow was balling. It was almost as if Joe Burrow heard the critics. You know, they got beat last week by the Patriots at home in a game in which they were heavily favored to a team that's one of the worst teams in the NFL. And throughout the week, there were people that had takes, specifically Chris Canty on ESPN, who said Joe Burrow's best days are behind him. And yesterday, Joe Burrow showed up and balled out and showed why he's universally recognized as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And he outplayed Patrick Mahomes yesterday. But despite the Bengals outplaying the Chiefs for majority of the afternoon, despite Joe Burrow outperforming Patrick Mahomes, somehow, some way, the Bengals still lost this game. And the reason why the Bengals lost this game, and I know Bengal fans ain't gonna want to hear this, but it's the truth. The reason why Bengal fans lost this game is because Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they know how to win these type of games. They know how to win these type of games. It's 4th and 16. 4th and 16. And this is the biggest play of the game because if the Bengals get a stop, game over. Bengals would have won the game 25-23. So it's 4th and 16. And we know it's a passing play coming up. And Mahomes drops back the pass, rolls to his left, throws the ball over the middle, and Dijon Anthony gets flagged for a pass interference on Rashee Rice. I know Bengal fans don't want to hear this. It was pass interference. It was a clear pass interference on Dijon Anthony. And to be honest, I don't even know why Dijon Anthony was in the game. I think he's like the 3rd safety on the depth chart. And not knocking him. He's got a lot of promise and going to have a bright future in the NFL. But he's the 3rd safety on the depth chart behind Geno Stone and Tycon Anderson. So Anthony was in a bad spot. He clearly got there early, and he interfered with Rashee Rice. It was pass interference. And then earlier in the half, we saw Jamar Chase get frustrated with the refs, and had a back and forth with the refs, and they called a penalty on Jamar Chase for unsportsmanlike conduct. And I was thinking initially, I'm like, I don't like that penalty. It's a lot of intensity in this game. Bengals Chiefs been going at it for years. Why are you calling that flag? But reportedly, I'm not sure if this is true or not, the refs said Chase used quote-unquote abusive language. I don't know if it's true or not, but they flagged Jamar Chase. And that was a critical point in the game because the Bengals could have gotten in field goal range and increased their lead. So I thought that was a key pivotal moment as well. Again, I understand Jamar Chase. He thought there was a horse collar on that particular play. I don't believe it was a horse collar, but he was frustrated. Maybe it's been things that were going on all game long, and that's why Jamar Chase finally got frustrated. But I just think there was countless moments in this game where the Bengals had chances to create separation and be able to finish off the Chiefs and win this game, and they didn't take advantage. The biggest play of the game, honestly, though, was the start of the fourth quarter. Joe Burrow fumbles on a 3rd and 10. They're at the Cincinnati Bengals 34-yard line. And Burrow fumbles on a sack, and Kamari Connor returns it back for a touchdown for the Chiefs. That was the biggest play of the game, honestly, because that got the Chiefs the lead. They went up 23-22, and at that moment, they were losing 22-17, and the Bengals had a chance if they score points on that drive to maybe go up 8 points with the field goal. You go up 25-17, or even with the touchdown, you could have really put the game away and go up 29-17. But instead, Joe Burrow gets sacked, and Kamari Connor gets the football, picks it up, and runs it the other way. That was the biggest play of the game. It swung momentum completely because offensively, the Chiefs had nothing going. And that was the Bengals' opportunity to create separation when they were up 22-17. Burrow, as great as he played yesterday, you can't fumble on a sack. You can't fumble. Kamari Connor picks it up, goes the other way. That was the biggest play of the game. That was a very impactful play, and I thought that was the biggest reason why the Bengals lost. That was the biggest reason why they lost. But you got to give the Chiefs credit. They find a way to win these type of games. It's the same way Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots used to find ways to win football games. And even in this game, I'm looking at the Chiefs offensively. Travis Kelce, 1 reception for 5 yards. Xavier Worthy, 2 receptions, 17 receiving yards. The only receiver / playmaker that showed up for the Chiefs was Rashee Rice. Rice had 5 receptions for 75 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. But that's the reason why I feel like this was a missed opportunity for the Bengals. Because let's just assume that the Bengals and Chiefs meet again in the playoffs. Because I got the Bengals in the playoffs. I'm going to talk about them here shortly, about what I expect from the Bengals the rest of the season. Let's assume the Bengals and Chiefs meet again in the playoffs. Do y'all really think Travis Kelce is going to only have 1 reception for 5 receiving yards? Do y'all really believe that Xavier Worthy is only going to be held to 2 receptions for 17 receiving yards? It's not going to happen in the playoffs, especially with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is a proven elite playoff performer. He will not, I repeat, he will not only have 1 reception for 5 receiving yards in the playoffs. I can bet the house on that. And honestly, throughout the afternoon, the Bengals defense did a pretty good job against this Chiefs offense. They really, really did. Pacheco for the Chiefs had 19 carries for 90 rushing yards. He did get injured. He's now on IR. That's going to impact the Chiefs moving forward. But I thought the Bengals did a great job defensively. Cam Taylor-Britt had arguably the best interception of the season. That was Odell Beckham-esque. That reached back, catching the football, That interception by Cam Taylor-Britt was big time. It was big time. Now, he did get burnt by Rashee Rice on his touchdown reception from Patrick Mahomes. But besides that, Cam Taylor-Britt played pretty good. He did get burnt, and you can't talk smack throughout the week and get burnt, but he had an interception that made up for him getting burnt. So he played well. You had the other linebacker as well for the Bengals, Akeem Davis Gaither. He had an interception as well in this game. So considering how bad Patrick Mahomes played and how Travis Kelce was basically irrelevant in this game, you would have thought the Bengals would have taken advantage of this and won the game. I thought they looked way better in this matchup than they did against the Patriots, and they played up to their competition. And we see now they played down to their competition against inferior teams. But when they go up against the Chiefs, it's always a good game. Always. And I think now Joe Burrow is now 3-2 against Patrick Mahomes. And so I just thought the Bengals had a missed opportunity in this game. But I look at the Bengals, they will be okay. And the reason why the Bengals are going to be okay, their next 4 games are all winnable games. They have the Commanders on Monday night next week. Then they have the Panthers. They're the worst team in the NFL. Then they're home against the Ravens. The Ravens are 0-2 as well. And then they go to New York and play Daniel Jones and the Giants. And the rest of the Bengals schedule, these are the quarterbacks that they're going to play. Jaden Daniels, Andy Dalton, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, Bo Nix, Will Levis, and they play the Browns and the Steelers twice. So that's 10 games the rest of the way in which the Bengals play bad quarterbacks. So the Bengals are going to be fine. Bengal fans, calm down, relax, do not panic, remain patient. They have bad quarterbacks that they're going to play the rest of the way, and 3 of their next 4 games are against bad quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, he's a rookie. He has great promise, but we don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be elite. You got the Giants as well, and Andy Dalton. So the Bengals are going to be okay, and their schedule over the next 4 weeks is favorable. It's favorable. Commanders, Panthers, Ravens, Giants. They are going to be favored in 3 of those 4 games. The only game in which they may not be favored in is against the Ravens, and they may even be favored in that game considering it's at Paycor Stadium. So the Bengals are going to be fine. Calm down, Bengal fans. They're still a playoff team in my eyes, but this was a missed opportunity because this was a chance for the Bengals to secure a W in the win column and be in the same boat as the Browns and be 1-1 in the AFC North. And the Bengals getting out to these slow starts, it is a reoccurring theme. 4 of Joe Burrow's 5 seasons, the Bengals have started 0-2, including the year they went to the Super Bowl. So they'll be fine. This is on brand. They got the Commanders coming in here next week, week 3, home game on Monday Night Football. They'll be favored. They're on brand. This is the Bengals and who they are. The only thing I would say is Jamar Chase, for whatever reason, he struggles against the Chiefs. The first time Jamar Chase went up against the Chiefs in his rookie season, he had one of the best games a rookie could possibly have. This is in 2021, week 17, 11 receptions, 266 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 24 yards per reception. These are the 5 games since for Jamar Chase against the Chiefs. 5.2 receptions per game. He averages 60 yards per game, 11.6 yards per reception, only 1 touchdown against the Chiefs in his last 5 games. So let's give some credit to defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and that Chiefs defense. They do a great job of containing Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is too great to completely stop, but they do contain Jamar Chase. So It's going to be interesting to see if the Bengals and Chiefs match up at some point in the playoffs, how Chase performs. Because right now, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs, they have his number. But all that talk about Joe Burrow and whether or not he's still an elite quarterback, you could put that to rest. Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are both elite, and the Bengals and Chiefs both will be in the playoffs. I'm not worried about neither team.